I talked about it in the past. I still think it's true today. Consent management is huge. Getting customers to agree on marketing interactions with companies is going to be a very sought after currency. It's not only being part of a loyalty program as a member, it's how much access do you provide in your life? How many interactions are you ready to open up to be exposed to new information? Everybody's fighting for basically not quote unquote eyeballs, but also time. And I think getting that level of trust and trusted sources is fundamental. So consent management marketing is going to become more and more important in loyalty. The second piece is more around AI, AI search tools and data concentration in a few global conglomerates, which we all know, and I won't name, will stand in the way of recruitment and direct channel manage engagement. Uh, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and so on are becoming so much powerful across all of these verticals that they will be considered to be the natural places to go to. How we remain relevant in establishing a direct relationship with our customers will be challenged. And so it is why we are going through a major digital transformation, incorporating in AI and everything that we're considering building, but also how we're featured on these AI tools for a recommended and trusted source so that we appear, but not only do we appear with information that's been concentrated through these AI search tools, but it's also how we have influenced and programmed these external tools to provide the best advice. So this is going to become absolutely key in recruiting and maintaining engagement in direct channels.
I mean, I think loyalty programs in general are always struggling for, there's always kind of a frenemy relationship with the revenue management team, because they view, not always, but a lot of the time they view loyalty programs as filling seats that otherwise could have been sold by cash fares. And we look at it as us filling seats that would otherwise have gone empty, right? And so, I think in the old days when you had a kind of, limited space, it was one booking class, then you might have one or two seats per flight, or you had the entry level hotel rooms that you might have on a hotel program. Now the expectation is that it's dynamic. You have access to every seat, or hotel room or whatever's in inventory at it, obviously at an inflated price. But what is it that how can you optimize that? And I think for us, one of the things that we struggled with was twofold. One is obviously there's constant pressure on ensuring that we have sufficient inventory. But because we have customers from all over the world, the bulk of our customers live in Europe. We also have customers who live in the US who have access to more credit card points, and we are present in that market. We partner with everybody, so we had frustration from some of our European members, our loyal customers or elites, who said, well, it's not fair. They have access to book these, and I don't have the same access to miles, right? And so one of the things that we did was we said, okay, well, what if we make more access available to our top tiers, right? And so we gave additional access to business class, our lowest business class inventory, to our platinums and ultimates. And it's expensive, but for us, we thought it was a compromise of not removing anything, and also trying to make sure we have sufficient inventory for everybody, at the same time giving additional benefits to our top tiers who are loyal. I think in 2026, I think you're going to have probably more of that. As we get better at selling seats. I mean, realistically, again, the pressure is always on loyalty. But I think we've come to a good point and a good relationship with our revenue management team where they see the value that we're bringing. We see some of our colleague, our peers in the industry who, especially based in the US, who will try to optimize routes based on demand from loyalty members, right? Because they really understand, especially with their links to the financial sector in terms of credit cards. Like we see that they are really leaning into that, and that dictates where they start to fly. So it's really interesting into the way the dynamic has shifted. In Europe, I don't think we're there yet, and I think given a lot of the pressure on the bank rates and charges, I don't think we'll get there. I think it will be maybe a lot more difficult. Plus, the consumer just isn't as sophisticated when it comes to loyalty programs. I mean, people don't have the same access or exposure, so they haven't learned in the same way that Americans have. But I think the opportunities for us to do more, to find more, daily lifestyle partners, and encouraging and exposing the benefits that loyalty programs bring to merchants. In other words, we have time and time again shown that people who are shopping and who are loyalty members and are going via the link with our loyalty program actually spend more, right, than somebody who's not. So the basket size is bigger, therefore it's worth the investment. And I think, again, especially as I said with AI, as people start to change the way they shop and change the way that they consume and change the way that they search, all of these things is going to have an impact on how do we remain relevant? How do we personalize? How do we leverage data to make sure that what we're serving and what we're offering our customers is relevant? Because you're competing for attention, you're competing for eyeballs, and now you've all seen this. I'm sure you go to Google, you type in a question, you get an AI answer, which means that the people who've been optimizing for SEO you're no longer clicking on the links, which is tanking the traffic on their links. But tomorrow it's going to get even worse, because if all of a sudden you're not even going to go to Google, you're going to just go to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever, you're not even going to see the links. And so today the information, a lot of it is wrong, it's erroneous, it's incorrect. But tomorrow it's going to be much better, and it's constantly evolving. And so I think as people change the way they shop, change the way they search, change the way they consume information, we have to make sure that we are right there with them, so that our products, and I mean that both the commercial tickets that we sell as well as the partnerships that we offer, as well as the loyalty environment is relevant too, and that we can leverage the data that we have, and from our partners as well, to make sure that we can be present and we can react to the customers' changing expectations.
The global climate was definitely a challenge in certain markets. And the great thing for us is we have a global portfolio. So when one market was suffering due to various things, other markets did pick up for their own reasons. Sometimes the customer truly was traveling to a different location because they no longer wanted to go to this other one. So there is the diversification really helps that. But the challenges were, I mean, every year there's geopolitical stuff. There's all kinds of, climate related things. And so being able to kind of just flex and adapt and make sure that we can be there for our brands and hotels, but also let consumers know, hey, if this is not where you're going, by the way, here's all the other places you can go, and make sure that you just take care of that for everyone. So that was one challenge. It's always there. The other challenge, I think, is, with these new tools and, there's always been technology, and technology is it advances at such a quick rate. And, this past year, all the advancements with AI, of course, they're really exciting and they're cool. And we've surveyed our guests, and we've asked our members if they're using these tools, and they are. It was like 65% on average have used AI for trip planning, and it's like, okay, amazing. So behind the scenes, okay, our challenge is, are we going to be in the running? Are we going to be in the search results for that? What are they going to say about us? Is it pulling from sources that are current? And how can we be present where our customers are for trip planning or such? And then also, how can we use these tools in our own processes at the hotel level and in our digital channels to make sure that the customer touch points are being, that they're being improved through these really, really quick and sophisticated new tools. So I think the challenge has been like, how do you adapt quick enough? Of which I would put a question mark there. We're aware, and we're excited about it. And the next thing is, okay, we're probably behind, because usually we're behind, like everyone's behind on technology because it's so advanced, it's so quick. And so that said, I think, again, you say challenge, but I mean, it's the opportunity too, of how do we make sure that we can do more there.
The 2025 challenge, which will probably continue to 2026, at least for the airlines, is this access to seat inventory as well for redemptions, especially in premium cabins. We don't have too much increase in capacity per se because of the delays in new aircrafts coming into the network or into our fleets. So I think that will continue into 2026. We've seen it in 2025. We found ways to increase the opportunities for redemptions by going beyond the airline. So as I mentioned, Skywards exclusives, for experiences, or redemption on Skywards every day. So on the lifestyle component of our program, I think we're going to continue to diversify that and continue to expand all these opportunities for redemptions so that we can manage the expectations, especially that we're offering customers more and more ways to earn.
2025, one major challenge was cost pressure, inflation and higher operating costs. Forced loyalty programs, not only our loyalty program, but most of the loyalty programs, to reduce their rewards. And some of the programs of loyalty systems are even closed. The second one is customer fatigue. There are many loyalty systems, and it's really difficult to engage all of the loyalty system for a customer. So a loyalty system need to be differentiate their experience and offers to competitive in the market. And these are two main challenges in 2025. In the next year, in the coming years, we will face with new challenges. First one is hyper-personalization. We need to differentiate our experiences by making them more personalized. But we have a disadvantage. We have a very limited amount of data. Our regular flyer can fly a couple of times in a year. So we have very limited amount of data for each customers. For personalization, we need data, but for hyper-personalization, we need more. So it will be one of the main challenges. And the second one is technology complexity. As I said, we have many technologies in the past years and new technologies such as agentic AI for the next year. The technology is changing so fast, and it's difficult to adopt new technologies. It brings some integration needs, some security issues, so that it will be challenging to adopt new technologies in the coming years.
So I think for most loyalty programs, the last few years, there has been significant inflation and therefore pressure on airfares. As a result, we've seen devaluations of currencies. We've seen redemption rates increasing. We've seen a move to dynamic pricing. At KLM Malta Airlines, we haven't gone down that route because we are a new program. So we were able to set up as a revenue-based program with various different earn rates based on products purchased and the amount spent. And as a result, we have a very transparent value of €1 per skybuck. As a result, we won't be devaluing. If the airfares go up, then the skybucks amount goes up, but also the earn amount goes up as well. So I think inflation has been a challenge, and different airlines have handled that, different loyalty programs have handled that in different ways.
I think one of the opportunity can also be one of the biggest challenge in the next year, which is the customer engagement. Because as loyalty becomes popular and popular in the business, we come to the point that we compete with each other between the loyalty program itself to keep the engagement of the members. And another thing is that we have a much higher customer expectation that we see. So we always have to create something new, something unique, something attractive enough to keep them as active with the loyalty program. And the third challenge, I think, that is fraud. That we want to make things easier. We want to create more offers. We want to offer the cross-border trends industry offers. Then the customer will be very smart, and we have to face a higher rate of fraud.
In
In 2025, even earlier than that, loyalty programs face a raise in customer expectations, data privacy pressures, and increase in the cost to serve. In 2026, the challenges will be to continue around maintaining relevance, balancing budgets, and ensure responsibilities use of data while still delivering meaningful values, because people has to feel the need to continue investing their time and money with you, no matter how limited your products or services.
In 2025, I think one of the challenges we saw was this erosion of the perceived value. So we focused on having big programs, and that's been a trend that we've had for years and for years, but it didn't translate into revenue or to meaningful behavioral change. I think we also saw the rise of AI. How do we use AI? Are we using AI? Everybody's talking about AI. So I think we were at risk of this, maybe term an AI theater. We all want to do it, but nobody's really sure of how we can do it. So I think in 2026, that's really our opportunity, is using AI, but driving value behind the scenes. It doesn't need to be puppetry. It doesn't need to be big gimmicks in front of our members, but we need to use AI to review our data, to be more predictive, and really to drive benefit to the program, also to the members as well.
I think in the next year, and probably in the whole industry, our challenge is the cost. Probably in the all of the world, they are cutting taxes and transferences and managing that cost about the marketing cost for the companies. And probably inside that marketing cost are the loyalty programs. They ask more for less in the corporation. And we need to be more performers. We need to be more efficient. And that is really challenge, because we need to do more with less money. And I think that is a real challenge. At least in Latin America, I think that is the main challenge for the next year. And I think it's the same for us. Be more the challenge for the next year could be be more efficient managing your program. That is the big challenge for the next year.
These are like challenges that I've seen that a lot of loyalty programs are facing, and last year, but I think they will continue into this year as well. So one thing what I've noted that several programs have actually made significant devaluations of the programs. We haven't done that, but there are many cases of programs that make it harder to reach rewards and also get status. I think this is a natural response to the inflation that has been ongoing. I mean, the cost base of us and other programs, of course, has been increasing. So a challenge is to land this new profitability. I don't know, maybe some have taken it too far. So then a challenge would be to handle like the satisfaction of the customers as well. Another challenge, I think, for us as well, we have experienced quite a lot of growth and big interest in our program. So that's a positive thing, but it's also a challenge to meet the demands of the members that want to get the most out of the program. And I think also a third, to round it up, a challenge, but also an opportunity. I mentioned personalization as something like an obvious trend that I'm sure that a lot of my colleagues also are talking about. But I think we have the tools, the technology is there. The challenge will be to nail it and do it in a good way. So it gives value to the customer, it gives value to us, it doesn't feel intrusive, but it still feels relevant. So I think that will be a challenge also to navigate that one and do it in a good way.
In 2026, I do expect as a an healthy challenge, more and more coming in the direction of people like myself for managing platform/loyalty programs, which has to do with ensuring that these businesses are actually sustainable and generating value for the company also on the financial side. So rather than the indirect value that they bring into their main mother companies, which is what typically a loyalty program or an engagement platform would do, they're also being assessed in their from a standalone standpoint, right? So we see more and more organization having a virtual P&L that allows to really assess whether these businesses could stand on their own feet, irrespective of the indirect benefits that they generate. So there is the challenge is to become more acquainted with those metrics and running it more on the financial side rather than purely on the engagement side.